Good morning, you guys. All right, so I'm so excited. First of all, we have a lot to talk about. Second, I'm gonna rewind to maybe like 15 minutes ago where I made my smoothie. We're gonna go to the kitchen. First thing I do every morning, I do this. And you know, I pretty much explained what I put in there a little bit. I kind of did the math wrong. I think it's more so like around 250 calories. Like I said, I do about a half scoop of the protein and a lot less milk usually. But Livy was helping me, you feel me. Anyways, it's so good, and you'll know, maybe if you've watched me for a long time, that years ago I used to be like addicted to the vanilla slim and trim smoothies from Smoothie King, and then they changed them, and it was like a whole thing, and now they're back like they used to be, but it's like $10 for a flippin' smoothie, and I'm like, no, I can't. It tastes exactly like that. This gives me so much energy, like so much more than coffee. And the nutritional value of all the things in it, I feel like my hair's been good, my skin's been good. And something else before we get started here, because I didn't really plan on doing a get ready with me today. Like makeup, I thought we're just gonna do a vlog where I go around the house and show it. We're still gonna do, stick with me. But I'm like, I gotta get ready anyways. And there is a topic I want to really deep dive into, and I'm like, I can't put all of that into one video, so I wanted to do that now. Good morning, guys. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how I make my smoothie. I use one of these bullet blenders. I'll show you how I do everything. Livy always helps me. Say hi.
Hi.
Can you see? There she is. Okay, and so anyways, I put this much ice in it, this much crushed ice, and I just use like the biggest cup, and then Sherry started peeling my banana. I'm the last banana in the bunch. And this one's pretty ripe. So it's this one's a little slabby. But it's okay, it doesn't matter. And I like to put bananas in smoothies because they're just like the perfect fruit for a smoothie. I don't like really tart ones or really ones that have like strawberry or a lot of really tart things I'm really not into. And they're not like super sweet. So anyways, okay. And then the first powder that we put in is this one. Can you see it? I usually do it over there, so it's a little hard to see. Okay, let me see.
I want to do it.
Okay. Okay. So a whole scoop of the greens. This is good. It has a lot of you gotta dump that back in. I don't know, I'll have to read about all this, or I'll link to it so you guys can see. It says supports digestion, immune health, energy, and mood, a good source of fiber, antioxidants, just tons of green stuff, and it has a berry green natural flavor, and all this stuff doesn't have like extra sugar and like added stuff. Do that one last. I'll show you guys this one. And this is the collagen. I'll do this one. You can do this one has a smaller little scoop. I've never been able to do supplements or anything that have a lot of biotin, and I don't know why this one doesn't mess with me. This is my second jar of all of these things, so I didn't just start using them. Okay, we'll talk about that because that's like a huge pet peeve of mine. This one's kind of new, so I'm trying to thing back in. But this one says vegan collagen building blocks, and this has a peach berry flavor. And let's see, supports body's natural production of collagen, adding strength and resilience to hair, skin, nails with a vegan formula. And a lot of these things say to put it like with water and stuff, and I just can't do that. I tried that, but the packaging pretty. It's just better to throw it all in a smoothie in the morning, get it done, and it's delicious. And then I always do a little bit of protein. You don't have to do the whole scoop. Sometimes I just do half the scoop. Oh, perfect. Perfect scoop, Liv. This is the protein powder that I use. And if you're doing a smoothie, that's where some of the calories can come from, honestly, like this. Okay, and your milk. So just do like half a scoop. But honestly, if you don't add protein to it, I just think this adds the best flavor, but it also is what's gonna keep you full. And I can do one of these in the morning, and then I'm really not super hungry by lunchtime. I always eat lunch, but I make better choices. But this is the best vanilla protein from Publix. It tastes so good. I've had so much protein over the years that it's like chalky or not good. And then I add the energy because they do all these, they have all these energy packets. Again, I don't like the way this tastes mixed with water. I just stick it with my, with this, and it says energy for body and mind. I believe it's a caffeine-free supplement. What is that?
I love the milk.
Yes. Okay, whatever. Anyways, it's good, and they taste all good. Taste good all mixed together. Perfect. And I use skim milk. Again, like I think that some milks, even if you think they're healthy, I don't know, like some kind of like certain nut milks, like certain milks that come from nuts, or I'm not a fan of like soy milk or stuff like that. Anyway, I don't know, whatever is like at the moment, I don't know. They can have a ton of calories. I just like like if you can do dairy, just skim milk. And it's like, it's fine. This is a little more than we normally add. But if you add up all the calories from all of the things and the milk and everything, it's about a 290 calorie smoothie. Give or take, if you add less scoops or less of the protein. But honestly, you guys, I don't think that's bad. I think that's great for breakfast. And yeah, so anyways. And you get all of the nutritional like benefits of all the things. I have more supplements I'm going to show you that I take. This is what I do. So first thing we come, make breakfast, do whatever. I'll cut this out so I don't like deafen you with this. Like I said, we put more milk than usual in there. He likes to help. But this is, I mean, it makes so much, you guys, and this is like my treat. Like I crave this every day. Again, like there's just so much of it, so it's very filling. It tastes exactly like a vanilla slim and trim smoothie from Smoothie King.
And when me and mom do a smoothie, she thinks that I have way too much less milk.
No, it's perfect. You did a good job. So that's it, you guys. I'll talk some more about these specific things. I'll link to them in a second. But I'm gonna go upstairs to get dressed and start getting ready because I haven't washed my face or done anything. Like it's literally like we just got up. So all right, let's go on up and finish getting ready. So I do the smoothie and come upstairs, and this is kind of like my time during the day in the morning where, you know, Olivia's either sleeping in still, or, you know, she's up and doing her thing, or she's up doing something, doing her thing, you know, that she's a little older. Take my vitamins and stuff, get ready for a little bit, listen to a podcast or watch a show or something, and drink my smoothie, and it just makes me feel really good. I just like crave this time every day, but I'll link to everything that I put in there. I think it's amazing. I take my vitamins every day. I think I've talked about these before. I like these ritual ones. They don't have a lot of extra things that I don't need. Plus, if you're taking like supplements and doing things like this in the smoothie, I don't feel like I need a multivitamin that has just a bunch of like junk. Those make me feel really good. And then I'm also taking these. This is my second bottle of these. I'm about halfway through. And like I said, this has been a long-term thing. I've been doing this for quite some time. And that's when I tell you, like, you know, when I was making it, like I have repurchased these or I have repurchased this. Sometimes I catch myself, I'm like, is that annoying? And I'm like, no, because it's so important that you guys know that, I think, from just like I hate to say that, just like a trust or a review, which I think by now you guys trust me and you know that I show you guys things that I'm actually using, but that's just, I hate to say, that's just like the culture here. I hate to say that. YouTube, like even from like 13 years ago, okay? This is like my 13th year, this whatever, which I'm proud of that too. Or even on Instagram, you know, it's like, oh, look at these vitamins. There's like one taken out of it. And it's like, well, in a week you could be feeling awful. Or with supplements or with hair care products or with whatever. It's like, I think it's important to know that someone's actually used it for a long time and they didn't just get this or whatever. And they're just like dying to show you to like make a buck. Which, you know, I hear people, it's like, oh, it's business. Like accept all these things and never say no. And I'm like, no. It's not business to like turn off half your audience because they know you ain't using that. Like, you know, they know you're not using that. Okay, these I love. They also in this line have, I think one that's like, what's it called? Maybe it's a multivitamin. I've never tried that one because I'm happy with what I use, and I feel like I get a lot of good stuff from the other things, and the greens and all that have like good immunity and stuff. But this as well, it's the pre and probiotic complex. And I had never taken a probiotic capsule before. I mean, I'd taken those little like shots that are like the yogurts, or my face is feeling dry, or whatever it is. Do you know what I'm saying? And again, did I say this when I was making my smoothie? Yeah, I don't like things that are really sweet. I don't like you know, sugary, strawberry, tart, overly sweet mango. Like, I cannot do all that stuff in a smoothie. I can't do all that. And I don't like yogurts like that for that reason either. Like, if I eat yogurt, it's like vanilla or just something very plain. But yeah, those little shots, those little probiotic shots are always like very just extra. And I'm like, I don't need all that. I don't need the extra calories. I don't need the extra like sweetness. I don't want all that. These are amazing. It does say, let's see, supports healthy digestion, immune system, and skin health. And I didn't read the skin health until I was about done with the first bottle. And I noticed that my skin has been really good. So I don't know, maybe that has something to do with it, but I do really like that. And of course, like the digestive benefits are amazing, okay? Not gonna get like into too much detail with that, but the big thing with probiotics is that they keep my stomach flat. Like, they keep me from looking bloated. And that's why I used to always like those other ones, because I very much have a tendency to like get bloated and whatever, okay, TMI. But if you can find a probiotic that works for you, that really helps. And these have been wonderful. So they have like a double, it's like a capsule that's like a capsule in a capsule. So it doesn't hit your stomach and make you feel sick, or I don't know how to describe it. So if you haven't tried those, give them a shot. The ingredients are impressive and all of these things. I'll link to all of those. And, oh, and their little sleep drops are good too. It's like a little beautiful glass bottle. It's like a tincture is what they call it. It's not an oil. It's like a very, I don't know, has some kind of like, is it acerola cherry or something, melatonin, a whole bunch of different stuff. It's very good, okay, whatever. I need to get more of that because that is one thing that like I haven't repurchased, but I'm like almost out of. Okay, y'all, let's get into it. Today was gonna be the mashup of all mashups. I'll link to everything as I'm going. Like I said, didn't even plan on doing this in this way. I was gonna do my smoothie, take you guys around the house, because I do have a lot to share with you guys as far as like, you know, new things that I've done here and there. This is my primer. I was like, we'll do my smoothie, go around the house. I have so many things to show you guys around the house. I wanna do a little thing on styling a bookshelf that's not intense and that will really like change your life, okay? Show you guys the basement bar, kind of do like a whole little reveal on that. Go around, show you guys some new things, the paintings that I did, which I think are kind of cool. One that I haven't shown yet, that I was gonna do in the video. And then I wanted to get in so deep to the Housewife and the Hustler. And I know we talked about it last time. If you didn't watch it, this is like not just a thing of like Housewives. This is like a story. This is like a news, like a national type of thing. I kind of go back and forth between the dark spot one and then just my original acne solutions. Maybe that's why my skin's been really good, because I've been doing this too a lot. I don't know, whatever. Okay, so that one's almost out. So I've been trying to like get rid of those. I didn't wet this. Oh my gosh, Tiffany, get it together, girl. So anyways, I was gonna do that kind of like at the end, like in the video we're talking about that, and I'm like, there's too much. And I feel like some of y'all's heads might pop off if I throw all that, because some people think I'm all over the place enough as it is, which I don't quite understand. We're not like doing anything that you need to take notes on here. Like, this isn't the hardest thing I've ever had to follow, you know, talking about all this silly stuff. But gosh, I already feel, I don't know, when this thing starts kicking in, I just feel so good. I just love it. It's fresh and tasty, but it's not like gross smoothie, like too sweet. So yeah, I wanted to do that. And then I was like, you know what, I could just do like a morning vlog, right? Do that, show you guys that, which I've been dying to show you all that anyways, the smoothie. And then come in here, do my makeup. So I want to do a little more today. I'm going to use a different palette. I don't know which palette I'm going to use, but I want to kind of look cute because we're going to go somewhere later. And I think that the house one needs to just be separate. And you know, this is not like a day in the life. Honestly, I think And I'm sorry, those are so fake. If you see a day in the life video, I don't care who you are. I'm sure lots of people that I love have done them. Everybody, 100% guaranteed, and I still love them. But it could not be faker, okay? So no, that's not what you want from me here, okay? Because people are still showing you exactly what they're not eating that every day. They're not like, I mean, they're showing you just like the nicest day, which is like fake, okay? Nobody does the same thing every day. And a little contrived, so that's not my thing, and that's not what we're doing here. But this is like a morning, it's a morning vlog, okay? This is like a day in my life of my morning, right? I don't know. Then we will do the home thing. Hopefully next. Oh my gosh, I've got so many things to show you guys this week and so much new. Let me show you what I'm wearing. This is new, but it's old at the same time. I've had the yellow and tan version probably, I want to say, for a couple years. So I was really happy when I saw that they still had this one, because I think when I bought that one, I wanted this one and they didn't have it. It's like a thin, which is perfect for summer, right? Like you can see straight through it. But it's a little cozy to put on over like, you know, little cami dresses, which this cami dress, you guys, if you have not grabbed this, it's only $28. I got it in all the other colors. And it's just adorable. You know, it's like a good length. It's very like comfortable, forgiving. You could belt it if you wanted to around the house though, especially in the summer. Get a little, you know, cool in the house. So this is just cute. I just love it. And this outfit is like so affordable. And this looks like $1 million. This matches my towels. How funny is that? Okay, so I want to get into this. The Erika Jayne documentary. It's an ABC News documentary on Hulu. If you don't have Hulu, I mean, oh my gosh, I don't even want to say this, but there's ways you can just, you know, they have like a free trial. So you can do that, watch it, and then if you don't want to keep Hulu, you don't have to. Just a little hint-aroo, okay? I was really impressed with it, but at the same time, I'm like, is it going to tell me anything that I don't already know? Is it whatever? If this tells you anything, her legal representation withdrew, or her legal team withdrew their representation the day after it aired. It looked, I mean, it just really was bad. And if you, here's what, if you watch, you know, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and you're like, if you know anything about this, like this is worth a watch. It's kind of like an Aaron Brockovich vibe, like literally, because he was her husband is this high-powered attorney. He was actually a part of all that, and they kind of go over that and show like which one he was in the movie and stuff. And just a high-powered trial attorney. You know, if you watch the show, she talks about him all the time. You know, over the years, I think they had like a 30-year age difference or something like that. She married him in her 20s. When he was in his 50s, I guess now he's in his, or 60, I don't know, now he's in his 80s. He's like 80 something years old. And, you know, she's the one that, you know, she's blonde, performs all the stuff you see on, you know, Housewives, whether you like it or not. If you don't want anything to do with Housewives and you're just like, oh, this is still like, this isn't like a national news story. Like this guy, it's a fascinating story in that this image that they projected, which was just larger than life, like larger than a lot of what you see these housewives projecting, which have a lot to say about that too. But they were just on this different level of just like what was like they're living like this like $15, $20 million home, or I don't even know. Always flaunting like, oh, we have 2 jets, we do this, I like money, and da da da. And it's, you know, just the fashion and stuff, which honestly people look at that. I mean, yeah, you can get really expensive jewelry and stuff. I mean, people can get clothes and I mean, that's not like, but just their lifestyle. And, you know, now it's like, was it real? Now he's saying they literally have no money, and it's like, how? Oh my gosh. Okay, so the gist of this, and if you missed the video, my last video where I talked about this a little, and then I told you guys I was planning on watching this, I was like counting down to this. I was like so excited to watch this show. And so hopefully you guys caught it, but if you didn't, it doesn't matter. Like we can still talk about it, and then you can watch it and still just, you know, enjoy it. But, you know, everybody's like, did she know? You know, because you're looking at this, like, you know, you looked at Teresa Giudice, like I said, you know, it was like, that was a federal thing, like they went to prison. You know, Jen Shah's dealing with stuff. They're dealing with it. This is almost like, this is the work. Like, to me, it deals with people. It deals with, it's just so sad. And in the documentary, they show a lot of the victims, but the gist of kind of, you know, what they're saying happened is, you know, he would represent these people. Like one of the guys was horrifically, like his girlfriend was killed, his lungs were burned, like his whole body was burned in this gas explosion that like leveled his neighborhood from, you know, they lived close to this company that, I don't know what the company was, but they had a huge gas explosion. And so, yeah, Tom represented him, the guy, Tom Gerardi is the guy's name, you know, who we're talking about, Erika's husband. You know, I thought it was interesting how they like showed him in the 90s and the 80s and how he was like this high-powered guy. You know, I don't know, I just thought that was interesting. So they really take you through it. But anyways, back to this guy. So Tom, you know, reached out to him like, hey, you know, I can get you what you deserve. And this guy, it's not just like, hey, I was inconvenienced, give me money. Inconvenience is not the word. This man has had so many surgeries. He's gonna have to have them for the rest of his life. And in a lot of these other people's cases, like same thing, they have families, they have to feed their families, but they're having to pay these awful like medical, you know, so he needs this money, you know, he was awarded millions of dollars and, you know, all these other people, same story, you know. And in a law firm or whatever, lawyers, if their client's awarded a sum of money, they don't give that money to the lawyers and it's the lawyer's job to pay. It goes in like a trust account that's like a middle account, you know, so that then it goes into the trust and the trust pays the lawyer fees and they give the money to the individual who, you know, the client, the recipient of the funds, you know. And so it's just very odd to me that he swindled it in a way where he could have control of the money, where he was paid all of it, where he then, you know, he kind of like tricked them into saying, well, I'll invest it, you know, sign this thing saying that I can invest your money. Okay, well, fine, all well and good if you want to do that, which that doesn't even sound legit to me. But then he wouldn't give them anything. So he was using that to fund this lifestyle. I mean, they showed that they're like, they dive into like their lifestyle. They show all these things. You know, how could this be like just from, I don't know, but whatever. So it's just sickening when you look back at things, whether you were an Erika fan, which like I totally was, or whatever side you're on. When you look back at this, it's disgusting. And you see her saying things and you see, and in the show now, okay, just on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills now, okay, the season, that's what they've been kind of selling it this season. Like, oh, you know, Erika's gonna really, you know, come out and tell all about this because this is gonna drop, you know, like this lawsuit and her filing for divorce is going to happen during filming. And so they're talking about the election, they're talking about all of those things. So this is happening election week last year, November, okay? In the documentary, they show she was subpoenaed about this issue in August and September. If you're subpoenaed about something, you know what's going on, you know. And so when you watch now these episodes, knowing what we know now, where she's like, I didn't know, I don't know. It's just like, you know, and then she's saying, oh, you know, I have had dinner with him every night during quarantine. You know, we're just together all the time, da-da-da-da-da. How did she not know? You know, she would had to have known where the money was coming from. The money went through a lot of LLCs that like had her name on it. So it's just so bizarre to me. And they show all this and it's just crazy. That's kind of the gist of what's happening, right? And, you know, she's saying they're happy, whatever. Literally 2 days later, which is the last episode, it shows, you know, they're having an election day party and they're doing all that. And then also that day is when she filed for divorce. That's when we all kind of found out, like on social media or whatever, like that she had filed for divorce. And right around that time, if you follow her on social media, which I don't think I do anymore, I think I unfollowed like 1,500 people. That's like a whole other story. Best thing I ever did. One night, like I'm literally just, I don't know what I was doing. And this pops up and it was from her account, Erika's account. This was like probably around Christmas. And it was like screenshots from a phone, like texts. And it was photos of an exchange between Tom and a really famous judge, like a woman in LA, like sexual, and you know, they're having a relationship. So then she puts that out there and then she took it down. But I'm thinking, those were so old. They were literally from like a pre-Motorola Razr phone type of situation. Like you can tell by looking at the text, it was so old. Like she's known about this for a long time, okay? I don't think that's the reason for your divorce, but I do think that's what she's going to be talking about or putting it all out there. It's not gonna be about the legal stuff, so don't be fooled. When Andy Cohen is on Watch What Happens Live and everyone's coming on there, or he's had interviews and people are like, is Erika really gonna share anything about this year? Because she's so like locked up and like nothing, you know, you just don't ever find anything about her. Like, sure, she was entertaining to watch the first couple seasons because it was just like over the top and funny, but then it's like when she gives you nothing about, it's just kind of like, what? And then this happens, and it's like, we're never gonna find out anything. And Andy's always like, just you wait. She does. She opens up about it. She's not going to, because she wouldn't even talk about like lawsuits that her husband was a part of a couple years ago that people found out. It's a lawsuit, I can't talk about it. It's a legal matter. She's not gonna talk about this, but what she is gonna talk about on the show, like, honestly, mark my words, it's gonna be her. We'll get into the documentary more in a second, but let me just tell you this. It's gonna be all about her sadness in the relationship. He's a cheater, he's this, all of a sudden, you know, that's what she's gonna open up about. When people are gonna bring up the lawsuit, when that, you know, because that's, I think around that time, that's when that kind of went public, that same week. That's when she's gonna get angry. She's not gonna talk about that. Are you kidding me? She'll just say, I didn't know. Just all my opinion, just all, you know, just commenting here on this. So, bit of concealer. Let me tell you, what bothers me is in the documentary, I was like, are we gonna find out anything different? You see Danielle Staub come rolling up, which I thought, okay, and I'm not even gonna say like, oh, I'm not a Danielle Staub fan. She was a housewife on New Jersey or whatever. It's not even about that. It's just that, like, I just don't feel like she added anything. Heather McDonald was on it, who I love Heather. And I thought it was, you know, she said some cute little things here and there. And it was, you know, I think people that were on there like that, like, they weren't adding things maybe that we had no clue about. But who I thought was really interesting was Dana Wilkie, the $25,000 sunglasses lady, if you guys know what I'm talking about. I actually listened to her podcast, and it's actually very good and interesting because she talks really about, she talks about a lot of this stuff, and it's interesting, so whatever. But I think she kind of, I think out of all of them, knew the most about what she was, you know, about this whole situation. Like, maybe added the most out of those people that were on there. But what was really powerful, so, you know, at the beginning, they kind of take you through all the, you know, Housewives stuff and all that. But what was really powerful to me was the, when they kind of switched and started really diving into the victim stories, their families, you know, their stories regarding Tom and all that. I mean, there were so many. It was so, and that was good, heart-wrenching, but it really painted a picture of like what type of story this is. This isn't just some like housewife thing that's scandalous. This is the story of, like, you know, something much more like sinister, sad, you know, and it made me angry, you know, when you're watching this and you see what this guy did to these people, and, you know, they play the voicemails, which I had already heard those because I think Dana had those on her podcast a long time ago, but, you know, they're playing all these things. That's why I thought, am I going to find out anything that I didn't know? Because I've listened to all these things about it, and I kind of knew a little, you know. I did find out that Tom Gerardi was only 5'5". That was new information. Fascinating. And then the extent to which Erika knew, like, talking about the subpoena, you know, how she had in August and September had been subpoenaed about this, and, you know, I don't think I knew that. That kind of tells you, you know, if you want to ask the question, did she know? Like, okay. What does that tell you? You know, did she know in November, you know, that there was something going on? She says no, but she was subpoenaed in August and September about this. And maybe she was used to shit like this happening. I don't know. Oh my gosh, you guys, and the flashbacks. Like the flashbacks of the show where she's like talking about money and, you know, their two planes and showing you around the house. And she had done this interview with ABC like last year, the year before, where she's giving you a tour of her house, and like Tom was on it. And then I don't think I had ever seen that. And when they like zoomed out of the kitchen and showed you those like roosters, there was literally like 6 roosters propped up, like taxidermy looking roosters. I'm sure they weren't real roosters, but why? Okay, they're fake roosters. Why fake roosters? Why any roosters? Why anything with feathers or fur or anything above your cooking surface? You know, who am I to judge anybody's decor? Nobody. Like, I don't care. I'm not like an expert. I'm sure mine isn't blowing their socks off either, but I'll tell you what, I can talk about the fact that I don't want like a fowl, like a farm animal that shits all over the place, hanging above my, I know they're fake, okay? I know they're fake roosters, but I'm just saying, not appetizing. Didn't love it. I just don't think that they're gonna talk about anything. I don't think she's gonna give us anything. I think it's gonna be exactly all of what we have been seeing recently, which is a lot of to be continued. All right, hold on. This is so good, the Tom Ford Disco Dust. I hadn't used it in a while, but I've been using it this last week and I really do like it. This color is so good, just all over your lid and in your crease. It's just like the perfect crease color. But you know, like the end of, not this last episode, but the one before that, the women all got the text about her divorce. And then, so you think, okay, they're gonna pick up on that first thing this episode. No, the whole entire episode goes by without them talking to Erika, without anything about it. They're just like, oh yeah, did you get the text? Yeah, they all got it. I mean, and then at the very end of this last episode, then she walks in and it's to be continued. I'm like, no, that was like a double to be continued. Like like that whole episode, that last one was such filler, and that makes me believe that they're spreading this out because I don't think they are gonna, I don't think she's gonna give us anything about this, okay? That's just my opinion. Maybe I'll surprise myself, but no, this woman is gonna give us nothing about this. It's gonna be all a bunch of what exactly is happening now. She wasn't even in the last episode, but for like literally 30 seconds. And I get, like, this is her life, like she's having to deal with a lot because, like, yeah, the story is on the show, but I don't understand when people go through these legal things, get off the dang show, because I've heard, like, you know, people are transcribing the show, which or someone's going through and, oh, is that your $250,000 Cartier Panther ring? Oh, okay. Is this your, you know, $180,000 like whatever carat diamond necklace that they just showed and zoomed in on? They are being so like dark with that. If you really watch the first few episodes of this season, zooming in on her things and, you know, oh, which, I mean, my gosh, like if they're saying they have no money to pay these people, I think that's what Tom said, and it shows a video of him doing his deposition from home during COVID, probably around that same time, September, October, I think it was in October. And they said, you know, how much money do you have access to? And he's like, zero, I don't have any money. So that's why it's important when you watch these things, like, oh, what's a handbag? What's a this? What's a that? Well, when someone's saying I have no money and they have like $1 million settlements, multi-million-dollar settlements to pay, which I think the main, they're saying like $2 million. I'm sorry, when you look at these people, that makes me feel, that makes me feel like, dang, Tiffany, like you're doing good, because when you look at these people, Erika Jayne, her husband, lived in this big $15 million, however much, Pasadena mansion, 2 planes, all this stuff, Lamborghinis, expensive cars, all these things. And they have no money and they're having problems paying a $2 million. I think one of the things recently was like, I mean, they owe a lot, you know, like probably hundreds of millions, like to these cases and, you know, in his firm's name or whatever. But like, I think one thing they needed to pay was like $2 million. They don't have that. And I'm like, how do you not have, that's a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money in the scheme of, okay, it's just all, but I'm just saying like, that should not be, it shouldn't be, okay? That's crazy. Okay, I'm like getting excited. And anytime I do these videos, my makeup I always feel looks like crap at the end because I'm just like not paying attention to what I'm doing. So I'm really trying. You guys, yeah, this palette, the Disco Dust, is just perfection. So if you haven't gotten it, there's not a lot of crazy weird colors, not a lot of fluff, not a lot of things that you don't need. It's just perfect. You can do a lot of different things with it. I'm gonna put a little bit of this pinky color in a minute too, but I wanna get this color like I'm going a little nuts with, but I'm gonna be very fancy today. Okay, so that was fascinating. I just don't get it. Okay, but anyways, what I'm saying is in this show, I feel like it's gonna be the fact that Erika even says, oh yeah, I'm getting a divorce, or yeah, that is gonna be mind-blowing to a lot of people because she doesn't share anything personal really much. You know what I'm saying? I really don't, and I think when Andy's like, oh, she talks about it, she's talking about the divorce and she's gonna talk about the cheating thing, and I think that was a part, guaranteed those text messages are going to be a part of filming because they looked like something that someone put together. I don't think she put those together. I think someone else put those together for her. You're probably going to see her posting it on the show or upset about it or something, and that's going to be how she's going to be made to look like a victim. Okay, so then let me ask you this, because this is also something, and I have not heard anyone say this before, and I don't know why, but just popped into my mind during the episode where they were in Tahoe, and I can't tell if this looks crazy or if it looks like a weird angle in here right now, where they were doing the two truths and a lie, and Erika's were, I was adopted, which she was, her dad adopted, or, you know, her stepdad adopted her. She said, I used to work for the mob, which could have been, you know, the club she used to work at may have been owned by, who knows. And I wore a wire for a federal investigation. That to me, I thought, who thinks of that? If I'm playing two truths and a lie, that's not what pops into my mind. Yeah, you might say, oh, I used to work for the mob. When would you say I wore a wire in a federal, where does that come from? I thought that is too specific. This is a federal investigation that she's going through. Wouldn't it be the ultimate plot twist? And yeah, she probably couldn't talk about it right now. If for the last several months, for the last year, who knows, maybe she has been working with the okay, I don't know. This is all just, this is, I will say this is probably not what's happening, but what if, okay, she's been doing that. And then she helped to take Tom down and then divorced him right when it all came down. But then it's like she talks about this man, like she cries when she talks about him, like in old episodes of the show, like she wells up when she talks about him and she is just so proud of him, and it just seems like she just really loves him. So that to me would be the ultimate like plot twist, and I don't think that's what's going on, because I think like legally there is, like I said, the subpoena, which she could have still been subpoenaed to talk about it, but and things where she was asked to give up certain things or, you know, go through her assets, like, you know, jewelry and things like that, which she then was like, no, these are gifts from him. These were gifts from him. Like, I'm not giving up my Cartier, you know, hundreds of $1,000 ring or my diamond necklace because these were gifts from him. Which I don't flip and understand that. Okay, if your husband's a criminal and it's in this type of way, hurting people, you know, these people that your husband that you were married to has done wrong by these innocent people that they trusted and paid him to do a job, give up your ring that was a gift from him. Those are the things I feel you should give up because it was his money that paid for that gift. It doesn't matter. And I get, whatever, I know, that really works me up. Like, just things. Like, I would be giving away all that, but granted, God, if she doesn't have any money, she's probably like, I need all these things. But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, she's choosing to stay on the show. Again, like I said, why these women stay on these shows while this is happening is just, I mean, it's beyond me, but I guess when you do go through something like that and you want to hang on to like every little thing that you can, it's gonna bring you an income. It's probably what's going on. So this color's kind of glittery, not glittery, but it's just like a beautiful shimmer. And it doesn't really translate if you put it on a brush. If you put it on your finger and then pat it on, that's a trick with shimmery eyeshadows. Don't brush them on with a brush because then they'll just go everywhere. It just gives your lids just the perfect little sheen. This is such a good palette. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna smudge a little. And it comes with good brushes too. Like, these aren't bad. Like, it has one that has a little brush. So let me do a lighter color under my, I don't know, y'all. The whole thing is disgusting, but wouldn't that be cool though? Wouldn't that be, not cool, but wouldn't that be something if she was a part of this? And you think, well, my God, look at all that she's going through. Wouldn't you be screaming from the rooftops that you're innocent, that you're a part of it? Well, no, because it's still ongoing. And she, I guess, can't talk about it, you know? I don't flipping know. But all I know is that I want to see what happens. I thought that the documentary was thoroughly entertaining. And I think whether Housewives turns you off, you don't like the drama, you don't, this isn't, it's important because it's it's like, it's significant just as a news story. Best eyeliner ever, you guys. It's like the double-ended one. Mostly I use this lighter end. It's a whole little Tom Ford eye look, not on purpose, but just wanted to bust out that palette again because I find myself wanting to use more like natural eyeshadows now, like more palettes and stuff, but I don't like to buy all those new ones all the time because I just feel like things are just, they always are just kind of the same. A lot of the same. Okay, so watch that again. Like I said, it's very interesting if you like crime or like crime stories or court stories. I just think it's very interesting, like legal things. And then it's got that whole like drama of this woman that's like a part of the show, like flaunting. It's very interesting. Okay, I liked it. I liked it. But I just wish, why did they open with Danielle Staub like walking in, like mic drop, it's Danielle Staub. Why? You know, that was so weird to me. So weird. Okay, so, but I kind of loved it because like, okay, NBC obviously like owns Bravo, like, you know, Bravo's the channel that all the housewives come on. So they've been so protective of this woman, keeping her employed, not speaking out against her, you know. And again, this is all alleged, like, you know, she's not really formally charged with anything, or, you know, they haven't had the, I don't know, you know, innocent till proven guilty, whatever, but a very like scandalous, dirty thing. And, you know, even Andy, all the people are kind of protecting her. And then ABC's just like, okay, well, if y'all aren't gonna talk about it, we'll talk about it. Like, let's do this. So I kind of loved that. Oh my gosh. And then you guys, I know Orange County has been like garbage the past couple of years. And even I was kind of like, you know, Orange County's kind of interesting, you know, like last year, because I think I was just in like this, you know, lockdown haze, and I'm like taking what oh, this is great. I'm like really, maybe overly excited, you know, because I was just like, wow, something new to watch. But honestly, it's been horrible. Okay. And I am so excited about this season. I think I've kind of honestly felt bad for, no, let me rephrase. I don't feel bad for Orange County, but I feel like it's been kind of one of those like widely disliked franchises lately over the last several years. I mean, for good reason. It has been like, but you know, so I'm kind of like, dang, why isn't Bravo doing more with this? It's like the original one. It's the one that most of us kind of associate with Housewives. You know what bothers me? When people, let me just go off on another tangent. When people talk about Housewives and they're like, okay, obviously we know Orange County was the first, but then they're like, then it was New York and Beverly Hills. I'm like, no, Atlanta came on the same time. I think the second was New York and Atlanta. They aired the same time. And Atlanta's always got the best ratings, always. So when people say they don't watch Atlanta, or which I don't even understand, I'm like, no. Okay, will always be my fave, not just because I'm like from here, but let me also go back to Orange County. I think what they've done is so smart, because it's like, I thought they're just gonna have to wipe the entire cast or bring back things that are people that used to make it popular. It's just like, I say this all the time, like there's certain brands over the years that really were big at some time or really jumped off because like this niche of like, you know, a product that was affordable, and then they were like, well, no, you know what, that works so well, but we're gonna focus on something else now just for the sake of growth. And then it kind of is like, stick with what works, okay? Stick with what works. So I don't know, I'm like, they should bring back some people, and I just always was just so thinking that they would probably bring back Tamara or Vicky. I don't know, but not even that I would die to be seeing Vicky again, but like, I just thought like maybe they'll bring back some old people. And when they said they were bringing back Heather Dubrow, honestly, I was excited. I got really kind of over Heather Dubrow, like when her last season, and not because I didn't like her or anything, but just because I think she was like, oh my gosh, remember all the Shannon stuff and the Kelly stuff with her, and she was just different. I think she got really worn down, and they were like building that crazy house that they're in now. They had that really beautiful house and they sold it and like moved into that rental for a while. I think she was just kind of like don't know. It was just, I don't know, like their story was just kind of blah. And when Kelly came on, it was so crude, and the whole vibe of the show really changed. And not that I'm like, oh, I don't like Kelly. I don't like all of her opinions. I don't like everything that she says, but she was interesting, but not, I think, interesting enough to like keep bringing back, because she was this different vibe, and that's kind of why Heather left. So now that they're like, okay, Heather's coming back, Bravo like gave her own, you know, like photo shoot and stuff. Like, you know, that's when they're like, okay, we really need this woman. We're gonna give her her own photo shoot. You know, like where she's holding the, like she's really cute, like really cute photos. But I just thought that was so funny. And then Kelly's gone. So it was kind of like Heather's back, Kelly's gone. I wonder if that was like a part of her saying, well, if I come back, these people have to go. I think Andy was on her podcast recently, which I don't really listen to Heather's podcast, but I did listen to that episode because they were talking about like her coming back. And from what I understand, like they were talking to her for a very long time. I think she said like around Christmas they were talking about it. And I love this blush, oh my gosh. And it's a gel, so it's kind of like really clean and light. And I feel that around that time, they had a lot of time to talk about it, a lot of time for her to be like, I would love to come back, but this person can't be on it, that person can't be on it. But I think what's gonna make it interesting, Heather and Tamra in real life are friends, and I think they've always stayed tight. And I think they were recently just seen eating lunch together or something. Like I remember someone was talking about that, thinking, oh, they'll be back. Well, now Heather's back. And I think they'll bring back Tamra as a friend of, 100%. And cause she's like, Tamra didn't want to leave, you know, and I think she is kind of an OG part of the show and interesting, you know. Let's, you know, I would like to see what's going on, you know, like there's always been train wrecks on all these shows, but I like Tamra. I've always thought she's kind of interesting. And yeah, every time you're like, okay, I'm glad that this person's gone, even if you liked whatever, it's a fresh new start. But never was a fan of Bronwyn. And then Elizabeth, the girl last year, I don't even think we even got to really, I don't know, you know what it was? It was that she came in for the season, for that one season or whatever, and got so deep and so dark with all of her issues that it was like, and if you think about these shows, people don't do that. People come in and have like a couple real fluffy seasons, and then they get, she was just too much. I just thought it was, I don't know, they did that. I don't think the show did her any favors. It was just so pretty. Could probably put just a little bit more on. But they said Gina's gonna be back, which I don't know, like just Gina's not my, I don't know, I sounded like Gina when I said that. She's just not my fave, but I don't, either way, it's like a 50-50. Okay, Gina's there. Isn't that pretty? I just love it. I can't stop adding more. It's like a clear, glowy pink, and it's in Rose Riot. And I'll link it, like I said, and I'll put the colors of things below if I didn't mention. Okay. It's a lot of blush today, but I love it. Also, Shannon's coming back. I was very surprised about that. Shannon and Kelly are very tight. Like I think on Shannon's stories or Kelly's stories recently, like in the last couple of days, like Shannon was like giving her a little goodbye party or something, like it came and brought her something like a goodbye gift, and Shannon looked like she was like mad. Like, well, I can't believe you're leaving, you know. Well, like I think she did not like, because now it's like, who's Shannon friends with on the show? Like who's her person? It's gonna be her and Gina basically. And Bronwyn's gone, which is great. And then there's a lot of things that I think were interesting that could have been really interesting, but I felt like a lot of her stories were contrived, and I don't know. Who knows? That's just my opinion, okay? But I like Heather Dubrow and that her family, you know, I think that she is gonna have some interesting things to talk about. Her house was always just so fascinating to me, and that's, I think, why we watch a lot of these shows. Not like, I mean, maybe if you wanna say that's aspirational or whatever, but it's just fun to see something that's like, whoa, that's crazy. Or I just miss the days of these shows where people actually lived in their homes, where this is their home, okay? Like Vicky, like lived in that house for like what? The entire time she was on the show for like over 10 years, you know what I'm saying? Like, or even if something like wasn't some huge impressive house or something, like when Tamra like divorced her husband years ago, She was in a little condo and then she moved here and bought different things. But it was like actually where she was living. These people rent these homes in these little like neighborhood. That Newport neighborhood that they showed looked like a flippin' nightmare. I don't know what was so special about that. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm sorry. I don't get it. Why those houses cost what they are when you could come to Georgia and buy a house nicer than that for $300,000 blows my mind. And in a good area too. Sorry. Sorry. Or even like somewhere where there is actually a nice beach that's not like gray and gross. Like you could go to like somewhere on the Gulf and like find a really nice, okay, whatever. Let's not talk about it, okay? I just don't get it. I think it's such a waste. But I'm just saying that's why we all live different places. We all have different opinions and that's cool. But that turned me off so much seeing just, oh, well, of course they all rent their house. In Salt Lake City, on the Housewives of Salt Lake, of course they all rent their house. They do. There's nothing wrong with renting your house, but they're renting the homes for the shows. I don't like that. Like anyone could do that. I want to see where you're actually living. Oh, sorry, gets me very worked up. Okay. How are we looking? Oh, eyebrows. I'm gonna do my easy eyebrows. Okay. And then here's what's interesting about the whole cast shakeup. Okay, so Heather is good friends with Tamra. Tamra and Shannon do not get along. When Tamra and Shannon used to be very, very close. Shannon's still on the show. But when Tamra and Vicky were like fired or they weren't asked to return or whatever, Shannon stopped talking to Tamra and it caused this big thing. Like, you know, Tamra doesn't really vibe with Shannon anymore. So now that Heather's back on, and she will probably bring in Tamra, like as a friend of, and Tamra will be on the show. Like, mark my words, Tamra will be on the show this season. Shannon's gonna feel real dumb. Like, and then I think they're gonna have a few more new people, and my guess is that it's gonna have to be someone that is friends with Shannon. I don't think it's gonna be someone like that Heather brings in, because Heather's got like her big family. Terry was always so interesting. They've got like other shows, you know, he's got all of his other shows, The Botched and all that, you know, itself. But they're just an interesting family. They've got all those kids. I think her house is gonna be like her friend of. Like the house is gonna be a character in itself. That'll be interesting. But yeah, I think it's gonna be someone on Shannon's end. I just really haven't been into Shannon these last several years, and I feel bad saying that because, you know, but I don't know. So she'll be back, and I forgot to do my, I just want to see Shannon when she sees that Tamara's coming back, and we're gonna see that. So let me show you with my nose lately. Like, so I have a little contour stick, and I like that sometimes, but I just kind of take my bronzer or whatever I use, and this is good because it really is like, it lasts a long time on your skin, and I just kind of do the sides, but I kind of do like the whole thing, because I just feel like it blends in better. You see people that do all that real heavy highlighting, it's like you want your nose to stand out. I mean, I feel like my nose is like very proportionate to my face. I've got like a big bump. Which side is it? One side looks like from the side like a big bump. One side it's like perfectly straight. Like you have to, and I don't know. I'm always bad about like knowing how to stand for pictures and stuff, or like knowing my angles, which so awkward, stuff like that. But that does help though. You know, don't think, okay, 2 big stripes of contour, and that's not for every nose. And sometimes I do that. But I think if you just kind of like blend in the whole thing. And here's that's what Dorit does. That's what Dorit does. I am so like, I'll call out, I won't, cause whatever, but I can see so clearly if someone's had something done to their nose. Like Kim Zolciak for years, well, I haven't done anything to my nose. If you look at her old nose, like it pointed down, but there's something that you can do with filler, and I think that's what she did. I think she may have had something very slight. There are nose jobs, and I know people that have done this, where you get a nose job without breaking your nose. I don't think she got that. I think that she got a tip thing and didn't call it a nose job because they didn't have to break her nose. I've known several people that have done that. I have not done that. If I ever had a nose job, which zero plans, don't be alarmed, okay? Don't be like, Tiffany, oh my God. No desire. You know, that's what I would, that's the thing, you know, but some people that have that, but then have like a very pointy nose, or they just have the tip fixed, or they have like, if they have like a lot of hangy stuff here, or I have like a really hard nose on the end. Like, I don't think I have any extra stuff. I just have a lot of like the cartilage is really hard. Okay, whatever. they can take that out. And I think that's what she did. And then she gets filler right here, which, you know, like your nose kind of dips like that. They could put filler here and filler here even to fix a hump. And you think, well, wouldn't that make my nose look bigger? No, no, people do it all the time. It's called a non-surgical nose job, okay? I have never done that. There's more risks with that. Don't go willy-nilly with that. I'm just saying, go to someone reputable if you are gonna do something like that. But you can tell when someone's had a flippin' nose job, okay? Dorit has not. She has not. And when people say, oh, look at, she's got a new face. People are so naive with Facetune. Khloe Kardashian all these years. Dorit, do you remember there was a time maybe a couple years ago where Dorit really had discovered the nose altering effects of Facetune, and she was like a different person on Facetune. But in real life, she just looked like she always, you know what I'm saying? She's wearing a ton of makeup in these, on the show, as most of us would if we were gonna be on a show like that. You know, you'd be like, fix me up, I'm gonna be on like HD cameras, like, you know, you do what you gotta do. But when you look at her nose, even when she went to that visit with Kyle, you could her nose is like wide. That's not a nose job nose, okay? That's not a nose job nose. Yes, she looks different. If you look at photos of me, my Botox is 100% worn off right now, okay? So I have no Botox, which that doesn't even alter the way that I look. Filler does. What really changed my face, I feel, for the better was my lip filler, because I do have a larger nose. I have a more prominent chin. My lips were smaller, and this balanced out my profile. It balanced out my profile, it balanced out my features. And when people think about what most people do with like big lips and filler, it's probably 2 whole syringes. I probably started with not even an 1/8 of a syringe and just get them touched up every time. It's like a micro fit, like, but it made such a big difference. I don't even have huge, big, blown up lips, but on me, it makes, the smallest bit makes a big difference. So don't underestimate stuff like that. She's had her lips filled, okay? That changed the way her face looked, and it made her nose look smaller, okay? If you get bigger, it's gonna make your features look more balanced, okay? So it made that helped. She knows how to do makeup now. She probably is getting you know, so that she doesn't look, I'm just saying, and not like smiling. If you smile huge for a picture, you look different than you do if you're just like, you know, whatever. If you look serious for a picture and you're just kind of like, for one, I don't like to like cheese it up all the time anyways and look silly. You know, if you're happy in a photo, but like, I don't like to just all the time be like, yeah. So yeah, if you're like kind of doing like a, you know, I can't even do it and be serious. You know, just like a pose, whatever, like a more serious pose. You look like a totally different person than if you're cheesing huge and your face is all scrunched up. And that's, you know, when she was 18 years old, that picture that they're looking at where they're like, oh, this isn't the same person. I'm like, this is a person that is 30 years young, 20 years younger. What is she, like 45? This is a person that's 25 years younger. I'd hope to hell that I don't look the same as I did in high school. And she's like 10 years older than me. Do you know what I'm saying? I sure as hell don't look anything like I did. It's not because I got a new face, which I didn't. Like I said, lips help. Lips make a big difference. But that's what she's dealing with too. So I think people are just so naive to like, you know what I'm saying? Just don't fall into that category of like, oh, someone looks slightly different. They've had a whole new face, or oh, nose job, or oh, this, that. Like what people can do with filler is, or the power of it is amazing. And I think that's what she's got a lot going on of that. But yeah, especially this last episode, you could tell she doesn't have a nose job. And I just feel like people are so like, weird about that. And like I said, even with Khloe, everybody, oh look, she's had surgery. I'm like, do people not see that this is the most face-tuned photo of all actual time? Don't be fooled with that, okay? Just don't because half of these people aren't getting surgery. They're just face-tuning the hell out of themselves. But no, I did think that was interesting. And then Dorit went with Kyle to her nose job doctor, and the guy was like telling her what she needed to do, like, cause you know, I don't know, I just thought that was funny. Her nose job doctor, her plastic surgeon. Nose job doctor. Something that I forgot, speaking of Dorit, oh my gosh, I forgot to mention this. We were talking about it, and I hope that you guys are like still with me, because this is one of my favorite takeaways from the documentary. So Dorit and her husband PK like manages Boy George. So, you know, if Boy George is gonna like give his rights for a song or licensing or whatever, PK's the one, he's his manager, you know, he's the one that's like doing all those deals for him. You know, like licensing a song to a television show or whatever. And so when they're at the beginning showing Tom And, you know, they show clips of him when he was like 50 years old, like talking and being super charismatic and all these things years ago, you know, and it's like the 80s and the 90s, and it's like, you know, in Beverly Hills, this high-powered lawyer, blah, blah, blah. They're playing the Boy George Karma Chameleon song. And I'm like, what? First of all, what a perfect song choice, because the whole thing is like showing how like Tom changed, you know, he can really appeal to anyone. He's very like charming and smooth. And then now it's like, look at his like, look what's going on. It's like a whole story of like bad karma, right? But I thought it was an interesting like choice, and I thought it was a good choice of song. Plus, it was like, kind of like sounded very like 90s, and you're like getting the whole vibe of like Beverly Hills in the 90s. But Dorit is supposedly like, you know, tight with Erika or whatever, but her husband had to license that song. And so they're making money off of this documentary, which I'm sure Erika's not happy about. Do you always wonder, like, did she watch this? Or, like, I just don't see how anyone could be on her side after seeing this, unless if they know something we don't. Like I said, the whole wire thing was interesting. What do you guys think about that? I don't know. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. I need my rings are downstairs. Left them in that little dish down there when I was doing stuff in the yard. So disregard. Anyways, you guys, I hope that you enjoyed chit-chatting with me this morning and seeing my smoothie. I'm telling you guys, this has been something like over the last like maybe 3 months. You know what I mean? Like it's been a constant thing that I've been doing, and I feel better. I don't want to say I've lost weight. I hate that. Like I don't really weigh myself much. I just know how my clothes look. And I'm not saying smaller is better. I'm actually happier when I'm a little curvier. But as far as just how I feel, like health-wise, my body, my energy, just being confident, and like just how I feel about myself, I'm in a really good place with that. And I feel like this is good stuff. I feel like I just start the day feeling clear-headed and feeling energized, and like not like I've had a bunch of like, you know, starchy white like breads and sweets and, you know, something very heavy for breakfast and feeling sluggish, because honestly that's kind of, and I don't eat a whole lot of bread. That's just natural for me. But this really helps. And if you want to try these probiotics, and if you've been trying to find a good probiotic, you don't know anything about probiotic, whatever, this couldn't hurt. Honestly, it helps. It just, I mean, who doesn't want to feel more like, I'll say regular, but I have a very sensitive stomach, like I always have since I was a kid. If I eat something super fatty, or like even just a certain like something that doesn't agree with me, maybe some kind of dairy that has like whole milk in it, or certain ice creams or whatever, like I'm telling you, like worse stomach cramps feels like labor cramps. You know what I'm saying? Just bad stomach problems, okay? Have not had that in such a long time. But it's just, that's how my body reacts to fat. It's just like, if I eat something super fatty, it's just like, nope. It's kind of like, do you remember that, what was that diet medication that was really like the thing? I remember I had a friend that took it, and it was funny. I mean, it wasn't funny, but like, it made it to where like you couldn't even, like you take it and then you'd eat something, if it had just the slightest fat content, you would be running to the bathroom. And I'm like, how is this the life? Like I will pack on 10 more pounds to just keep myself out of the bath. Like I don't want to be in the bath. I don't want to be running back and forth to the bathroom. That's my worst nightmare, that I'm going to have like a bathroom emergency and I can't get there. No, thank you. But that's what this, I don't say this with this avoidance, but I just feel like I don't have stomach pains. I don't feel bloated. My stomach feels flat right now. I've drank like this whole, you know, I don't know. I really love it. It makes me feel good. And I think it's great for immunity. Like it says, it has all like the gut, you know, the good bacteria in your gut, which is where like a lot of your immunity come from, and your skin. When it said skin health, I was like, because I know the one that's like the collagen is for skin or whatever, but I just never thought of that. And I like that the collagen powder does not break me out. I took those little sugar bear gummies one time, and a different brand of hair gummies, and I got massive, just huge. I think it just, something about the oil production. No, I don't know, but this is good stuff. This does not, thank God this does not do, it doesn't make my skin feel oily. Okay, love you guys. Thanks for watching. So many fun things coming up, and I will talk to you guys very soon. Bye, y'all.